Hi, welcome to the Gear Garage. My name is Zach, and this is my fun little internet show about whitewater stuff. And today I'm going to talk about river knives, and in particular attaching river knives to PFDs. I've done a few episodes about PFDs. I've done a couple episodes recently about the clean line principle, and knives have come out, and I've kind of alluded to what I do with knives, and I've had a few people ask me questions more about why I attach knives the way I do, and I talk about this. So I thought I'd do this episode about attaching river knives to PFDs. And first of all, river knives are something that we probably should have as boaters. I'm not convinced that everybody has to have them, but they're probably a good idea for most paddlers, especially river guides who are responsible for people. And the idea is that, you know, we're in whitewater, we're in moving water. We also have ropes and straps and things in moving water. Those two things are dangerous, and once in a while we need a knife to cut somebody free, or cut ourselves free, or some other thing free from a rope that's in a dangerous position. And it does happen once in a while, so much so that it's kind of a standard piece of safety equipment. And this is a river knife here. Generally what you want in a river knife is a dull tip. You don't want to necessarily need a sharp tip. You're not poking through ropes, you're cutting them with a serrated edge. So again, a dull tip and a serrated edge is a great way to go with a river knife. And this one is the Bear Claw by CKRT. I'll talk about this one in a second. The classic river knife that I've had most of my career is this Gerber River Shorty. It's just a really nice knife, comes out easily, too easily, has a big handle. Nice big handle is nice because when you're cutting something, especially if your hands are cold, it's hard if you have to grab something small. So a big handle is nice. Again, a serrated edge, a dull tip, so if you drop it, it doesn't poke somebody in the foot or poke through a raft. It's just a great overall knife. And it goes into this sheath that it maybe comes out too easily. And so it comes in and out, and I've seen myself several of these knives just randomly pop out. And so knives falling onto people or into a raft and maybe cutting them, or just having your knife fall out and losing it, you know, that costs 30, 40, 50 bucks to replace. And so a lot of people who have used the River Shorty over time have decided to put an elastic strap on over the top. So if it does come out, it still stays with you. And I put this strap on mine, and I found it out quite a bit several times on accident. So I would have lost it or it would have fallen out if I hadn't done that. And it's an interesting thing, right? We're adding a potentially dangerous strap to our bodies. Does not follow the clean line principle to have a knife with us. Maybe not the smartest thing. This is a potential hand entrapment for somebody, I guess. Although it's pretty weak, you can still trap somebody. And so this isn't the best option. I'm not really stoked on this option here. There's also this Bear Claw. This is a pretty cool knife. It has a little bit better attachment. It's harder to come out, but I've talked to somebody who they've had this fallen out randomly too. And so what that person did actually was they put a zip tie from this little hole through the knife. And I saw it on their jacket, and I thought, well, if there's a zip tie on, how do they get it off? And he had actually tested the strength of the zip tie and knows that it's not that strong. He's able to pull and break the zip tie every time. And he swore to me he can get it off if he needs to, but the knife always stays inside the sheath, which is pretty cool. And so I really like this little Bear Claw knife. It's small, it's simple. It's not the biggest handle for cutting, but it has this nice little finger loop that helps you cut a rope if you need to. And again, it's Columbia River knife and tool. It's called the Bear Claw. Cool little knife. And you know, in general, there's some advantages and disadvantages to having knives externally put under PFD. One of them is ease of use. So one hand gets it out. You know, this one with the strap, that took me two hands. And it's still stuck. So this one's kind of not that good. But anyway, the idea with an external knife is you can get it out with one hand, make the cut, ready to go. It also, you know, sends a signal to the people you're with and guiding. An external knife it sends a message. Maybe good, maybe bad. The message I think it sends is I'm a professional. I have safety equipment. What we're doing is potentially dangerous. So it kind of amps people up a little bit having a knife. Kind of like when a soldier has a weapon, it kind of amps you up. When you show up as a customer and you see a river guide wearing a knife front and center on a life jacket, it sends a message. And so maybe you want to send that message, maybe you don't. But I think it definitely sends communicates something that you should be aware of when you wear an external knife. But the ease of getting to it is pretty cool. And of course this one, because I don't want to lose it all the time, I have to put this little strap on it so it doesn't go away. I'm personally a fan of a knife that's not external. I like putting in the pocket. When I use this PFD a lot, I have a knife in here that's fairly easy to get to, and I always use a whistle on my zipper so they're easy to open and close. I can find it easily, I can open it, so I can get into my knife really easily. But the way I've been going, the thing I've been doing is using this Astro Blue jacket, which lately has been my go-to vest for a number of activities, whether I'm raft guiding or stand-up paddleboarding or kayaking. It's a good vest. Again, I like it because it's simple. It goes over the head, but still kind of has a side attachment. I did another video on the Astro Blue jacket, and so you can watch that if you want to learn more about the blue jacket. But I've been a fan of, and there's places to put knives. You can put a knife somewhere on this one. Maybe not. Oh yeah, there's a place to maybe put a knife up here if you wanted to, externally. But I've put mine inside my zipper pocket. Oh, there. This one there's a whistle, so I can usually find the whistle and open the zipper. In this zipper pocket, and it's one that I can open with one hand and cut if I want to. And this is the Gerber, I forget what it's called, Easy Out or something like that. It's a really good knife. Again, blunt end, nice big serrated edge. This has the best blade of any of the knives I've ever seen, and a pretty nice handle for cutting. This is a pretty big handle, and it packs up into this small package and fits right here ready to go. Now if I'm shoved stuff in my pocket, I can't easily get to it. But if I haven't shoved a bunch of stuff in my pocket, if I need to help somebody, I can unzip this with one hand, grab the knife, open it up with my thumb, and I'm ready to go. It doesn't take that long, but I also do practice once in a while to make sure I know exactly where it is and I can get to it, which I think is important. So it's sort of a trade-off whether you, again, do the internal knife or the external. You know, I guide a lot of multi-day trips with families, a lot of class 3-ish stuff, where part of my job is helping people feel more comfortable. And so if I had a big knife on the outside of my PFD, it may not make them feel comfortable. So that I want to send a signal of comfort, that what we're doing is relatively safe, and that you're under good control, and you don't have to worry about knives. But that's a message I want to send when I'm guiding. If I go back to guiding class 4 or 5 rivers, I might consider putting that one on the outside of my life jacket. The only other kind of downside that people mention of the external knife is when it's on you, when you're this thing right here, if you're trying to pull yourself back in the boat, this pokey knife right here, this pokey end, can sometimes grab on something. You can grab on the perimeter line, you put it around your raft, a handle, and it's a little bit more distance. It's a thing on the outside of your jacket that get caught as you're pulling yourself back into a boat, or trying to do some other maneuver where your life jacket's against something. So that little thing is a little bit extra. So, you know, I know a lot of guides are hyper aware of that, and they might tie, there's a little loop here, they might tie the loop down to make it pretty flush, or they might look for some sort of a knife that is very flush to their jacket, or depending on where you mount it. A friend of mine mounts this guy right up here. It's pretty out of the way right here, versus if it's right here front and center, it's a little bit more in your way. So just some things to think about with knives. Again, like all of the videos, I have some experience with this stuff. I talk to people about a lot. I get a lot of advice on what to do. I'm very curious, but I definitely don't know everything, and I haven't experienced everything. And I really look to you and the audience to give me feedback, tell me an example of a story of something that you've seen, whether you agree, whether you disagree. And I learn from the videos when you put comments. So please, if you have a comment, add it in the comment section down below. Again, it helps make this a two-way discussion, and I can learn things as well. But those are kind of my thoughts, and again, it's just my opinion, and you know, there might be a right way. I might know it, I might not, but I'm sure if we all talk about it, we'll somehow come up with the best solution for all of us. And as always, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.